In 2016, when the CIF Evaluation and Learning Initiative was launched, we did broad stakeholder consultations, and there was an overwhelming interest in transformational change. We knew at the time this was a hugely ambitious topic, very hard to even understand the concept, let alone analyze 10 years of experience over dozens and dozens of countries. But we decided to take it on in an ambitious way because we all need to rise to this challenge.
The climate investment funds were created in 2008 to scale up finance for climate change, filling urgent financing gaps and demonstrating the viability of emerging solutions. CIF supports over 300 projects across 72 countries in the areas of clean energy transition, energy access, climate resilience, and sustainable forests. In 2017, the Climate Investment Funds established the Transformational Change Learning Partnership to better understand the concept of transformation and CIF's role in supporting transformation since 2008. The TCLP had two phases: an inception phase in 2017, when the TCLP explored definitions and concepts, the research and analysis phase, which took place in 2018, consisted of an evaluation of transformational change undertaken by an independent evaluation team from ITAD, an evidence synthesis focused on secondary literature undertaken by an independent team from the Overseas Development Institute, and a facilitated learning process involving in-person workshops and webinars with over 60 stakeholders and experts, facilitated by the Consensus Building Institute. The TCLP was not only trying to understand CIF's role in contributing to transformation, but also what it takes for all climate action to be more transformational.
The CIF community has a very strong network of experts and practitioners, and we wanted to leverage that in order to ground the transformational change work in the operational realities of countries and institutions who are at the forefront and working on these issues.
The group has generated a common language and a set of questions that are really good questions to ask systematically.
The TCLP aimed to address 4 overarching questions, covering transformational change concepts and definitions, whether CIF's process and design has supported transformational change, whether CIF has contributed to transformational results, and how CIF and others working on climate action can learn from CIF's experience to increase transformational change.
TCLP brings all the multiple players on the same table, and there are a lot of cross-fertilization and a lot of cross-learning that is happening. We are learning from each other and with each other.
TCLP is different because we want to be impactful as we move along. Our objective is not a nice report in the end. Our objective is to bring a group of people that are doing work in this area, have vast networks themselves within their institutions and outside, can learn and replicate through those networks.
It's not common, and I've worked in other climate funds, and you never take this very much programmatic and strategic approach.
In 2017, the TCLP started by looking at how transformational change was defined by others. Then it identified a working definition of transformational change in climate action: strategic changes in targeted markets and other systems, with large-scale, sustainable impacts that shift and/or accelerate the trajectory toward low-carbon and climate-resilient development. Building from work done earlier by the World Bank, the TCLP agreed on a framework for identifying transformational change through 4 dimensions: relevance, systemic change, scale, and sustainability. For transformational change to be both real and lasting, all 4 dimensions must be actualized over time. The TCLP also developed additional frameworks and hypotheses on how CIF supports transformational change through each of its programs. As of 2019, there are ongoing discussions about ways these could be further used and refined for future work.
So what is transformational change? Well, transformational change is how do we take what is a limited supply of concessional finance in order to change the way that societies function in terms of their energy use, in terms of their resilience to a changing climate, in terms of how the social systems around forestry or transport function, and to do it in a way whereby the projects that are implemented can have a wider impact and create a sustainable basis going forward.
Parce qu'en tant qu'acteur de la société civile, ce qui nous intéresse le plus, c'est l'impact des investissements. Et donc, ces changements transformationnels nous aident à mieux comprendre, à mieux analyser et à avoir surtout des outils d'analyse efficaces pour dire que ces programmes, pendant 10 ans, voilà ce qui a été investi, voilà comment ce programme est en train de changer la vie des gens.
The two independent transformational change studies were completed in late 2018, following a TCLP workshop where they were discussed as part of an extensive feedback process. The transformational change studies found that CIF's design is unique among climate funds, with programs intentionally designed to be relevant to transformational change. Its features also support the likelihood of transformational results. These features include a country-led programmatic approach, explicit consideration of transformational change at the design phase, large-scale investments, delivery of financing through multiple coordinated multilateral development banks, and flexible and predictable funding. The studies found that transformational change is progressing to different degrees. The level of progress varies substantially by program, country, and sector. The evaluation identified progress of each country and sector at an early, interim, or advanced stage for each dimension of transformational change. The studies found that the Clean Technology Fund, working on clean energy transition, has realized the most advanced progress toward transformation across all 4 dimensions of transformation, especially where low-carbon energy has scaled and there are signals of sustainability. The pilot program for climate resilience is the next most advanced of the CIF programs. In some PPCR countries, fundamental shifts in stakeholder behaviors, knowledge, and capacity demonstrate advanced systemic change. PPCR also commonly sees interim signals of scaling and sustainability. The work on energy access shows interim signals of systemic change and early signals of scaling and sustainability through demonstration models and strengthening of the enabling environment through policies, institutions, and knowledge. Like energy access, the work on sustainable forests shows interim signals of systemic change and early signals of scaling and sustainability. Contributions include aligning incentives and laying the foundations for systemic change through government policy reforms and incentive models. Differences in progress between programs hinge on a range of factors, including differences in program design and funding levels, implicit differences in sectors and contexts, the level of complexity and predictability, and a range of real-world barriers, including those shown here. The studies also highlighted several other important findings, lessons, and recommendations for supporting increased transformational change in current and future climate finance investments. In January 2019, the findings from the recently completed Transformational Change studies were shared at CIF's 10th anniversary event in Morocco. The findings sparked many discussions about how transformational change occurs, CIF's role in supporting transformation, and what is still needed to advance transformational change around the world. These discussions and learnings have continued since this event and are ongoing.
This is not business as usual we're talking about. And I think what CIF has illustrated is an ability to do the kinds of things that we only need more of in the future.
The kind of discussions and the kind of topics that we have discussed under TCLP over the last 2 years now are all the issues that I have also been grappling with or I have also been thinking about.
This is a big investment in time and energy and thinking about all of these issues, and it has paid off in a grand way. Gradually throughout these meetings, we have seen this group of very diverse backgrounds turn into a community of practice on transformational change.
The process and the format was extremely helpful to get really a deep understanding of this topic.
Transformational change is not only about climate financing. That transformational change is about managing water security. It's about poverty alleviation. It's bringing people in the mainstream of the development. It is to protect human dignity.
In the room with all these TCLP stakeholders, you realize that you're actually sort of living, breathing evaluation. You're not only enriching and contributing to the process, but at the same time, uptake is automatic. That you can't unlearn the exposure and conversations you've had with all these different groups of people.
My thinking and understanding of transformational change has increased. This initiative has really played a major role in helping us understand what it actually means and understanding the CIF's contribution to transformational change.
TCLP concept is quite new to Cambodia. So what I learned from here, I would believe that I would integrate it in our project design and our program development.
The frameworks are absolutely relevant beyond climate finance. They're equally applicable to other areas of development.
On est presque vers la fin de l'initiative du processus. Je réalise qu'on a eu des résultats qui sont là, que chacun des parties prenantes peut apprécier à sa manière. Mais je réalise quand même que c'est des résultats et qui peuvent être intéressants pour nos pays d'abord et pour la communauté climatique.
This evidence that we are collecting applies not just to the climate investment funds, applies to all of the institutions out there that are trying to make a difference in delivery of climate finance and delivery of climate relevant investments.
There continues to be widespread interest in advancing the work of the TCLP. Although the work of the TCLP, as originally envisioned in 2016, is complete, CIF will continue work on transformational change in a new way. Priorities for future TCLP work include dissemination of lessons, development of country and thematic case studies, development of tools and guidance, and continuation of the TCLP in a new form with broader participation.
We celebrated 10 years of operation. 10 years means a lot of experience, a lot of stories, a lot of knowledge, and I think it's time to have systematic sharing of the knowledge.
I see flexibility in the concept. I have a position in Brazil in the Environmental Commission of the Senate, the legislative power. I am very keen to offer them to the senators the concept of transformational change as a way of doing better projects.
Our objective now and in the next decade is to use these limited concessional finance resources in the best way. And this includes to mobilize the private investments in the most effective way. What the Transformational Change Learning Partnership has shown us is how to do this more effectively.
I'm extremely inspired and motivated by where the global community is on this, and we have a great opportunity over the next few years to advance the global common knowledge and to actually achieve more as a result of that.
As the CIF founders did 10 years ago, I believe it is now our turn to be bold, think big, and deliver a truly transformational response to the challenge of our generation.